Imagine a world beneath your feet teeming with life, mysteries, and solutions to some of the planet's most pressing challenges. It's a world of soil, and the guardians of this vital world are soil scientists. Soil scientists play a crucial role in understanding, protecting, and managing soil, which is fundamental to all life on Earth. When I asked Lizzie to explain the work she does to a 5-year-old, here's what she said.
That's a great question, and it's interesting actually because I have got involved with quite a lot of STEM activities. So I'm a STEM ambassador. So that's science, technology, engineering, maths. Like trying specifically to do that, to get out into schools and talk to kids about what you do. So I've had to, and I've done quite a few this last year, both in primary schools and in secondary schools. So then I've had to take that down to explain to people what I do. So usually I start by explaining why soil is amazing and why it's really important that we protect it. You know, fundamentally all life on Earth exists because of soil.
Yeah.
And if you think about where we live, if you look around you, we influence, there's not much area in this country that we're not changing or managing in some way, and a lot of the land is under agriculture for food. So we're managing the land by agriculture, we're influencing it. And in doing that management, we impact on the soil. And that the main challenge is where we damage the soil by the way we manage it. So we start by talking about how important soil is, how it's fundamental to life, and how it's really important that we protect it. And ultimately, most of my work centres around understanding soils and also then understanding how we can manage our soils better to make sure we protect those. Because you may have seen, occasionally you get in the press headlines like 60 harvests left, scaremongering headlines that we're degrading our soil, we're cultivating it, we're putting it under pressure, we're losing topsoil, and potentially the threat that poses to us as a society. So, I wouldn't go that extremes, but it's definitely a significant challenge. And I think that we're beginning to realise the scale of that challenge and how important it is that we do take action to protect our soils and, ideally improve them into the future.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful because from soil, everything grows, right?
What I usually say to kids if they're going to school, you don't normally think about it, do you? What you walk on. You don't think much about the world beneath your feet, but it is a massive world beneath your feet. When we're trying to get kids enthused about soil, you'll say, in a teaspoon of soil, there's more living organisms than there are people in the world. There's a massive amount that we don't know about soil. So, there's a huge amount still to learn about how it functions. But what we do know is that we have degraded soil. So it's mainly through, agriculture and producing food for us all to eat, that in doing that, we cultivate the soil. So we've got tractors and we plough and we tisk and we till the soil to create a seedbed to plant our crops. And then we spread fertilizer and plant protection products on to try and grow the best crop that we can. And you know what? We've been very successful at feeding the world. The population has expanded massively, and we've fed that population. By and large, we've produced enough food in order to feed the world, which is a massive achievement. But what we're starting to realise now is that has come at a cost. So what we need to do is we need to be able to continue feeding the world. But we need to try and do our absolute best in doing that to minimise the impact on the soils and try and take actions to try and regenerate and improve them. Because it's not something that in the past has had that much thought. We've managed to get the yields year on years, and it's only sort of more recently that we're starting to see the massive loss of carbon from our soils, soil erosion, nutrient losses to our watercourses as well. So I think our understanding has grown, and now we need to take action. And change the way we manage our land.
Now, full disclosure, I had never heard of the role of a soil scientist, and you might not have either. But if you're interested in the following things, this could be a career for you. environmental conservation, agriculture and food production, climate change mitigation, hands-on fieldwork, laboratory analysis, collaborative and interdisciplinary environments, education and outreach, problem solving, technology and innovation, sustainable development, exploration and discovery, and the field of earth sciences. Let's now hear from Lizzie on why she loves this work.
Always learning. It's never boring. Yes, I would say I've never got bored. The role has been great because it's just kind of evolved with me over time. Yeah. So, I mean, one thing I would say about the role, I said I've been in the job 20 years. And I've never then applied for another job within the company. The role's just changed with me. But when you start, the job that I was doing, or my day-to-day work when I started, was very different to what it is now. So when I started, still working on the same sorts of projects, but my role in them was different. I was helping other people who led those projects, and I was learning from them. And then gradually over time, as you learn more, you're then allowed to, you then write your own tenders and you start delivering your own projects, smaller to start off with, and then you grow that. And what's really nice is that we have a lot of control over what we do. And obviously I'm employed to do a job and I need to go to work and do that job. But in terms of the sorts of things I work on, I would say I've kind of created my own role and I've managed to direct it towards the things that, I like. Particularly, I mean, of the projects I'm working on at the moment, a couple of them were in response to tenders, so they're kind of targeted by the client. But the EU one that I'm just finishing, that was a tender that I put together with collaborators across Europe based on our ideas on something that we wanted to deliver. So we got a huge amount of influence to direct that. So there's always new challenges there. I think that's why I've never kind of looked elsewhere. It's always felt that there's more to learn and more to do. And you're never quite done. There's always always going to be the next project, and there's always going to be more to learn. So it's not it's never boring. It's always a school day.
If you're interested in finding out more about a career as a soil scientist, or you're simply looking for career inspiration, or you may indeed just want to know what's going on beneath our feet, then do check out the full episode with Lizzie, which is released on Wednesday. Until then, have a great couple of days and do reach out if you have any questions.